You. I'd first like to thank some of the people who made this evening possible. We have Greenville-Spartanburg Airport, Hartsville-Jackson, Hudson's, SSP at America, Charleston, Columbia, Memphis, Sarasota, Savannah-Hilton, South St. Augustine, Heritage Shop, LPA, Transition Solutions, UPS, and a special thank you to Boeing, which made a very nice contribution to our Commissioner's Reception and Scholarship Fund. At this time, it's my pleasure to award a leadership award to Congressman Richard Neal of Massachusetts, who has been a longtime supporter of something that ACI and AAAE have worked very hard to achieve, and that is the holiday for ATM, which is excuse me, got the wrong thing. I ain't got my credit card. The alternative minimum tax for funding of bonds. And also he has introduced H.R. 425 to make this permanent. It was 2 years and part of the stimulus. And so on behalf of the commissioners, the airport directors from across the country, all involved with ACI, we thank you and we thank for what you have done to put to give a holiday to the alternative minimum tax. And it's my pleasure to present him with the ACI Leadership Award. Would you?
Would I be so kind as to use up a few minutes? Yes.
Okay.
First of all, thank you, Elsie. You can tell she's got that Boston accent.
I am a former mayor too, and I understand that you are too.
That's our common ground. I apologize for being a bit tardy. I was cloistered today with the Ways and Means Committee, as you might expect, on that small topic of what to do about selecting a chairman. It's a cross between a Mickey Spillane accounting and a Scott Fitzgerald novel. Because we're in that room trying to discuss where we go from here. But I want to thank Elsie, and I want to thank all of you sincerely. As she indicated, by way of our DNA, we're both former mayors, and that means that you can't deal with just esoteric issues. You have to deal with bricks and mortar, which I must also say that I've enjoyed immensely over the course of my career, and still very interested in it. I'm a believer in infrastructure investment, coupled with what I think is another very important consideration. I think we all need to remind the American people that there's a difference between TARP and stimulus. TARP took place in October of 2008. That was to resolve Wall Street type issues. Stimulus is an entirely different subject and in many ways has gotten a bad rap. And it's gotten a bad rap largely because in this town, the difficulty is whoever develops the narrative first generally prevails in the argument, unfortunate as that may be. Recall that the purpose of stimulus was to create demand, to address some long-time pent-up issues. And I appreciate Elsie's suggestion that what I offered was a holiday from AMT. I like that, by the way. I'm going to use that without suggesting that you told me about it. But I have fought the battle on AMT for more than a decade. And I fought with a president of my own party, and I fought with a president of the other party, and I'm back to fighting with the president of my own party again. But I think it's that important. I will tell you that Bradley International Airport, located halfway between Springfield and Hartford, is about as important to the local economy as anything I know. The ease with which we get from one point to another is critical. And across New England, we've got these great little airports. I won't include Logan in that. But nonetheless, when I hear people, for example, complain about airport congestion, and then in the next breath they oppose any sort of expansion or growth, it's inconsistent, and we need to call them on that. About maybe 5 miles from where I live is the largest Air Force Reserve base in America today, Westover Air Force Base. And it was cut out of a series of neighborhoods in Chicopee, Massachusetts, by a Polish native who decided that getting the Air Force to commit to that community back in the 30s was terribly important. That airport to this day is spectacular for cargo in particular. But you know what's interesting about it? I always say to people who go to these commemoration events, and they talk about the vision and the genius of that mayor, if you tried to do that today in a residential environment, they'd have you checked into Bellevue. And I can't emphasize enough that I'm in support of what you do, as Elsie indicated by way of introduction. I want to make that AMT holiday extension permanent. And I think that we can do it. Close on the note with which I opened, the national subject that is in the foreground for all of us is creating jobs. And the quickest way to get those jobs created is based upon the kind of work you do. So put your hands together for yourselves, and thank you all very, very much.